Hi, welcome to Stories and Other Things Holy, and welcome to the second week of our 4-part Advent reflection series. We are now officially in the season of Advent, a time often thought of for preparation and anticipation, but can also be a time that reminds us to pay attention to the Incarnation and welcome the Incarnation already in our world. For many of us, the holiday season can be just as much a time of anxiety, complexity, and heartache as it is a time for Thanksgiving and celebration. So this week, our principal storyteller, Dr. Terry Nelson Johnson, shares a story that invites us to grapple with how invested God is in being with us in our lives. These 4 episodes of our Advent series are intentionally shorter, hopefully allowing you more time to ponder the radical gift of love that you're being invited to welcome in. Terry and I hope these story reflections provide comfort in the midst of the messes of life. Now let's dive in to Stories and Other Things Holy.
Stories and Other Things Holy. Advent, baby. It is the time to tell stories, and I am so grateful to be able to tell this one. I'm in the balcony at Old St. Pat's. Liturgy is being celebrated. We have a visiting priest. His name is Richard Fragomeni. Some of you may know him. He is a fiery little Italian dude. I really like him. A lot of energy. And he does this thing on Advent. He's like, what's Advent? He says, Advent is God's declaration of God's intention to join us irrevocably in our chaos. And one of the things that line taught me was how significant one word can be. If he would have said, join us in our life, I would have met him at the bottom of the stairs and said, thank you, Father, it was a beautiful homily, or whatever, God's declaration of joining us in our chaos. And it just captured my imagination. And for some reason, I immediately imagined that I was like God's uncle. Sounds crazy, but work with me here. And God was going to send an email, communicating his new plan. Like, you know what? I'm coming. I'm going to join you in your chaos. But he hasn't hit send yet. You know how when someone writes an email and then they tell you the email and you're like, no, don't hit send. I wanted to go to God, as God's uncle, and just put my arm around him like, do not hit send. Do you have any idea how much chaos? Israel, Gaza, and my chaos, weight, retirement, finances, hemorrhoids, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like there is a lot of chaos. And you want to say, God, don't, for your sake. It's too much. The image that comes to mind for me is, when you're a little kid, you're really, really, really scared and you woke up in the middle of the night and there was a nightmare and you ran into your parents' room, you went to your mom's side probably, and you're like, Mom, there's boogeymen. Worst case scenario, she sends you to bed. Like, no, there's not. I looked yesterday. Next case scenario is she walks to your bed with you and she tucks you back in, kisses you, like, okay, looks under the bed, no boogeyman. Third best scenario is she walks you back to your bed, she gets in bed with you just for a little bit, doesn't get under the covers, but and she comforts you, that's good. Best case scenario, she taps the bed when you come in and welcomes you to just slide in next to her and be held by her. If we are in relationship with the God who declares God's intention to fully and utterly join us in our chaos, and we believe that, then it produces there's 2 ramifications of that. One is, we're not alone. And the second is, it's going to be okay. Why is it going to be okay? Because we're not alone. And God dwells with us in all of our chaos. We are in relationship with a crazy, crazy God. Somebody described compassion as one's willingness to enter into another's chaos. And this Advent, I just pray that God is compassionate and that I allow God to be with me in my chaos and trust that God is with us in our chaos. Advent, treacherous adventure. Stories and Other Things Holy.
Thank you for joining us for this Advent series of Stories and Other Things Holy. If you find these stories meaningful, we invite you to sign up for our newsletter at storiesandotherthingsholy.com and gain access to weekly written reflections, prayer prompts, and more. Help others learn about this podcast. We invite you to like the videos and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast app. We look forward to seeing you next week for more Stories and Other Things Holy.